رمضان ده رحمة من ربنا النعمة بيحل حياتنا.
Spot on 5 p.m. this evening here on the 23rd night of Ramadan or evening of Ramadan. It is the Zamzam and Tamoor show, that time of a Sunday wherein we are joined by the head of the Shariah banking, that is Brother Muhammad Amin Hassan. And today, Alhamdulillah, we are also privileged to be joined by a special guest, that is Mr. Ryan Cohen. And today we're talking about working capital during, before and after the lockdown. So inshallah, Brother Muhammad Amin is going to be explaining this to us and the relationship with merchant capital, and that's where Ryan will be coming in. We say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Brother Muhammad Amin, and we say good evening to you, Ryan.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and all the viewers.
Good evening.
Indeed, this lockdown has certainly given businesses something to think about. Working capital is the lifeblood of any business. And during this lockdown period, we've seen many businesses starting to feel the pinch in terms of cash flow. And what we've seen over the past few years is cash flow with a business is the lifeline of the business. It's the lifeblood. It gives it what it needs on a daily basis. And as a bank, we partnered up with Merchant Capital a few years back. Merchant Capital is one of the leading providers of alternate working capital solutions, and they operate within the fintech space. And what we did as a bank was partner up with them, and we've brought two products to the market utilizing the services of Merchant Capital. So we have one product which is what we call the Merchant Capital Advanced product, and we also have something which is known as BizFlex. And we've taken an equity stake in Merchant Capital, and we see a long-term opportunity with Merchant Capital as a bank. And as this relationship was maturing, we saw that there was definitely an opportunity within the Sharia space, because up to this point in time, Sharia working capital solutions have been very limited. And if they did exist, they were filled with friction and very administratively cumbersome products. So we teamed up with Merchant Capital, we leveraged the partnership of the broader bank, and alhamdulillah, we developed the first Sharia compliant working capital solution of its kind with Merchant Capital. And I have pleasure in introducing Ryan, who is the Chief Relationship Officer. And Ryan will tell us a little bit about what Merchant Capital does, and we'll flow the conversation from there, inshallah.
Inshallah. Ryan, it's over to you.
Good evening. So Merchant Capital we're a leading provider of working capital solution to retailers across South Africa. We've assisted over 5,000 businesses since inception and deployed over 1.5 billion rand. Traditionally, pre-COVID, we can provide businesses with up to 100% of their average monthly debit and credit card turnover to use as they see fit. Our working capital solution has a unique repay as you trade collection mechanism. And what that means is that we are able to collect funds by holding back a small piece of each one of the future transactions that goes through the point of sale of the retailer's business. This means that when business is good and turnover is high, the merchant will pay us back quicker. However, when business goes through a cyclically quieter time, which is invariably the fact, the repayment to us reduces. One thing that we are incredibly aware of is the shortness of time and resource that the SME retailer has. So everything that we do as a business is around quick, simple, and easy. So the application process all the way through to the deal funded for the merchant is a 48-hour process, and it is all around nurturing a long relationship over time. One of the key things is that we don't prescribe what the funds get used for, provided the funds are used for something that are going to make the business more efficient and enhance its operations. The product is incredibly effective, and we've got a metric which is of every 10 customers that take out a facility with us, 8 people come back and use the facility again.
Muhammad Amin, if we look at the Sharia aspect of it tying into merchant capital, how does the Sharia then aspect fit into that?
So, as Ryan mentioned, the product is really awesome in that you can turn around funding within 48 hours. And the beauty part about the solution is that it does not impose a fixed repayment on the merchant or the retailer. We share in the risk of the cash of the business. What that means is, as the business's cash flow increases and decreases, we collect in line with that, or in proportion to the revenue that the business generates. So when we looked at the product, we saw that there was definitely an opportunity to design a Sharia-compliant version of this product. So we sat with our Sharia board and our internal Sharia risk and advisory team, and we partnered up with Merchant Capital, and we've designed what has become the first Sharia-compliant working capital using the structure of wakala, or what we call agency, where we deploy cash into the working capital of the business, and we take actual risk with the business. We share in that business, we share in the margin of that business and what that business generates. And as Ryan mentioned, the business then can utilize and deploy that funds in a Sharia-compliant way in his business. Obviously, with it being a Sharia-compliant product, there are restrictions to the types of businesses we can onboard. So it's obviously all the haram industries, we don't fund those industries. Any retail businesses that are involved in the retail of non-halal food items, alcohol, tobacco, gambling, all of the prohibited industries, those industries are not funded. So alhamdulillah, we're really, really excited about this product. It was launched just as lockdown started. So we launched it at the latter part of February. In March, we were gaining beautiful traction, and then lockdown started. But alhamdulillah, that's what we're here for today. We're here to speak to our retailers that have been affected by the lockdown, and some of the solutions that we now have available to them that they can make use of during this lockdown period as well as post.
Ryan, coming to you, I am sure all your customers are retailers. They have been the ones that have been most impacted during this lockdown period. What solutions have you provided, or what kind of assistance have you provided for the retailers?
So when lockdown was announced, our economy was automatically split into two business types, those deemed essential businesses and those deemed non-essential businesses. We made a strategic decision as a business to put a payment holiday on all the businesses or customers that fell into the non-essential category. This is a material part of our portfolio, probably just over 80%. We're all about customer service, and we're a very customer-centric business. So what we wanted to do was make sure that our customers felt supported at this precarious time. So we set up a COVID customer center where we were available 24/7 to our customers to answer any questions and help them navigate this tricky time. We set up a COVID portal on our website where we detailed all the tips required to help navigate this pandemic time, as well as giving retailers an opportunity to have one place that they could go to and investigate the relief fund options that were available. What we've run, which have been very successful, are a range of webinars where we tackle subject matter, giving the SME an opportunity to learn and understand what they could or should be doing to help them get through this in the best way possible.
So Ryan, you talk about SMEs, then when we look at what relief and funding options are available at SMEs at this particular time?
Sure, yeah, so I think Zahir, what there's been is, in no uncertain terms, the economy has taken a proper sucker punch from this COVID-19 and the impending lockdown as a result of it. There was a survey which said that since the kickoff of level 4, still 70% of all SMEs aren't trading. The same survey, which was done by the South African Small Finance Association, also said that if lockdown goes on for another 2 months, up until the end of June, there is a big chance that 75% of micro and small SMEs would not make it. So as a result of all of this, there's been the setting up of a range of stimulus packages. The stimulus packages have been both government and private sector funded. I'll talk you through a couple of them, which will just give you an indication of what's actually available. So on Tuesday last week, there was a big announcement of the 200 billion Rand loan guarantee scheme, which was launched by the National Treasury. And this is where funds were given to commercial banks, and the SARB gave money to the SARB gave money to commercial banks, and it was guaranteed by the Treasury. The terms of the facility it's effectively a 66-month term, where the first 6 months are deemed payment holiday, and then the business owner would need to pay it back in 60 months thereafter. And the requisite use cases for the funds is for OPEX, or operational expenditure. Then the UIF, or the Unemployment Insurance Fund, has made a total of 40 billion Rand available. This will allow employers to apply for assistance on behalf of their employees. To date, there has been 11 billion Rand that's been deployed to circa 160,000 different businesses. In the private sector, there was the launch of the Sakuma Relief Fund, which was a 1 billion Rand fund made available by the Rupert Family Foundation and Remgrow. And this was divided up into two. One that went to sole proprietors, where a 25,000 Rand grant was made available that never needed to be paid, or doesn't need to be paid back. And then the second is for all other entities, where interest-bearing unsecured loans between 250,000 and 1 million Rand were made available, with no defined repayment terms on launch. And then a 25,000 Rand grant that would be paid to those entities too, without any need to pay back. And once again, the use cases for this is for operational expenditure. Then the Oppenheimer family and the South Africa Future Trust was launched, and the focus over here was businesses with a turnover of over 25 million Rand per annum and cash flow constraints due to COVID. These businesses needed to have been trading for less than 24 months. The employer could apply for funds on behalf of their employees, and they could qualify for up to 750 Rand per week for a maximum of 15 weeks. Up until now, 27,000 businesses have been assisted through this initiative too. Amin will be able to take you through this in more detail, but the banks have been very helpful as well by providing both cash flow relief and payment holidays across many different product types to many different businesses.
I mean, before we go into the private sector and the help that Standard Bank has provided to SMEs, etc., we know it is almost the iftar time in the Durban region, just about 30 seconds or so to go, as we have been doing for the past 3 Sundays. Alhamdulillah, we know a very important time when we make a dua, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts our duas at this time. We'll ask you to make a small dua, and then we'll encourage the Durban viewers that they may be able to break their fast for this evening.
Inshallah. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضى بأن تصلي عليه. اللهم إني ظلمت نفسي ظلما كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت فاغفر لي مغفرة من عندك وارحمني إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. بفضل سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون. Salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Yes, Durban viewers, the time for iftar has set in. The dua once again, Allahumma inni laka subtu wa bika amantu wa alayka tawakkaltu wa ala rizqika aftartu fataqabbal minni. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fasting done for His pleasure for today, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the provisions that He has provided us with to eat and break our fast this evening. Alhamdulillah, if you have just tuned in to the Zamzam and Tamoor show, we are joined joined by the head of the Shariah banking side of things at Standard Bank, and that is Brother Mohammed Amin Hassan, and we're joined by the Chief Relationship Officer at Merchant Capital, that is Ryan Cohen. And this evening we're talking about working capital, especially now during the lockdown period. And Mohammed Amin, you are going to talk to us about what help and assistance has the private sector, especially Standard Bank, been given to the SMEs during this lockdown period.
Jazakallah. As Ryan mentioned, there's been significant stimulus packages that's been given by the government, and most of the commercial banks across the country have given payment holidays, moratoriums, cash flow relief to all of the businesses that have been affected. I think it's important to note, Avisab, that many of the packages that the government have pushed out, especially this guaranteed loan that the government and commercial banks are offering, important to note that these are not Sharia compliant. So while they are available and any business can go, it's important for us to note and understand that these are not Sharia compliant loans. From a Standard Bank Sharia banking perspective, and I think most of the Sharia banks and commercial banks as well, we've announced that if you are affected by COVID and you are consuming a Sharia compliant product from us, you're more than happy to come through to us as well. So the relief, the cash flow relief, will also be applicable to all our clients within the Sharia banking business unit as well.
And when we look at the Reboot product, Ryan, you want to take us or talk us through this Reboot product that has been launched?
Yes, sure. So I think this is going to be the first of a number of new products that we bring to market in the coming weeks. The restaurant industry has probably been one of the sectors that's taken the most pain during this period. Many restaurants have not traded for a 6-week period during the first bit of lockdown, and now that the delivery has been allowed, at least the restaurant sector is in a position to start trading again. Restaurant as an industry is a very important part to our business and makes up approximately 30% of our total portfolio. So we asked ourselves the question, which was, what is it that a restaurant owner, or what can we do to help a restaurant owner start trading again, to help him kickstart his business again? This led us to the development of a new offering which we are calling Reboot by Merchant Capital, which focuses exclusively on the sector. A basic overview of this product is the following. A restaurant needs to have offered delivery pre-COVID or has started offering delivery since level 4 has commenced. A business also needs to have a trading history of 1 year and turn over 300,000 Rand a month in monthly credit and debit card turnover pre-COVID. If a restaurant did delivery prior to COVID, we'll be in a position to approve that business for 1 month's delivery turnover upfront. We will then advance them 50% of that delivery turnover right away. On a weekly basis, they would then need to submit turnover data of delivery to us, and then we'll be in a position to increase that facility. Then if a business did not do delivery prior to COVID, but has now started doing delivery subsequent to COVID, we will look at a business's total monthly card turnover prior to COVID. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that a restaurant did 400,000 Rand a month in card turnover pre-COVID. We will approve them for 25% of that upfront, being 100,000 Rand. We will then advance them 25% of that upfront, which is 25,000 Rand. Weekly, they will then submit turnover data to us on their delivery turnover, and as a result of that, we will increase the facility for them. Recommended uses for this Reboot product are, we want to get the wheels of the business turning again. So what are the fundamental requirements? A guy would need to make strategic stock purchases. He would need to pay wages. He would need to increase his hygiene and sanitary requirements in the business. marketing and advertising in order to ensure that his customers know that he is open and trading for business. And then finally, enhancements to his delivery platform. When we started our business, Zahir, it was all about serving the ambitious growth of the SME when times were good and when times were tough. We all know that we're going through a tough time now, and it is our promise to retailers in South Africa that we are going to continue serving their ambitious growth at this point in time. If any of your viewers are interested in finding out more on the product, they can go to our website at www.merchantcapital.com/Shariah and get some more detail. And if they've got questions, somebody from the office will be in touch with them first thing in the week.
Thanks so much for that, Ryan. Coming back to you then, Mohammed Amin, Ryan made mention of /Shariah. So then, is this a product Sharia compliant?
Absolutely. So the relationship between Standard Bank Shariah Banking and Merchant Capital, apart from the broader conventional bank and the equity stake that we have with Merchant Capital, what we've provided to Merchant Capital is all the Shariah banking expertise of Standard Bank we've given through to Merchant Capital. So everything that you see branded as Shariah with Merchant Capital is certified as being Shariah compliant by Standard Bank Shariah Banking. So the Shariah Advisory Committee of Standard Bank has certified these products, and the ongoing audit and Shariah compliance reviews are conducted quarterly by our internal Shariah Risk and Advisory business unit as well. So yes, you can with absolute confidence, we can confirm that it is Shariah compliant. And if there is any Shariah technical queries, those queries are passed over to us by the Merchant Capital team. And if there's anything that viewers want to engage with us directly and want us to channel them through to the Merchant Capital side of the business, more than happy to facilitate those conversations for them as well.
Head at Shariah Banking at Standard Bank, Brother Mohammed Amin Hassan, Jazakallah for joining us this evening and explaining to our viewers this very important aspect of working capital, and especially for the retailers during this lockdown period. Do enjoy the blessed days of Ramadan. To go, inshallah, to remember us in your du'as as well. Fi amanillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To the Chief Relationship Officer at Merchant Capital, Ryan Cohen, we say thank you so much for joining us this evening and explaining to us, our viewers as well, the importance and the help and the funding options that Merchant Capital, in association with the Shariah Banking of Standard Bank, are offering to the retailers, that is much needed during these trying times. Good evening to you as well, and all the best for you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a very important aspect, we're talking about working capital for before, after and during a lockdown. We go for an ad break. Inshallah, when we come back, the lines will be open.
As a Standard Bank Shariah-backed working capital provider, we can afford to get behind your ambitions. How? Simple. If you've been in business for over 12 months and have card sales of over 30,000 Rand per month, we can do great things together. Within 48 hours, we'll give you an upfront Shariah-compliant cash advance. And thanks to our repay-as-you-trade system, which works in line with turnover, you won't be stuck with impossible repayments. Because with Merchant Capital and Standard Bank Shariah Banking, we serve ambitious growth.
من ربنا النعمة بيحل حياتنا.